good? Today is a very powerful episode, a very powerful discussion. We'll be talking to none other than Miss Queen Yonasda LoneWolf about the Ahmad Arbery case. This is something that's heartbreaking. This is something that has affected so many people across the planet. So we'll be talking about how we as a community can mobilize, stay protected. For everybody that's tuned in on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Caleb Smith. I'm the host of the 3 Milli Podcast. We're about to get this conversation locked and loaded and ready. Let me pin this comment real quick. About to get started very, very soon. And again, for everybody that's tuned in on YouTube, Jay Black, man, shout out to you. What's up, man? For everybody that will be tuning in to this on YouTube, again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Everybody that's watching on IG, make sure to follow us. Queen Yonasda LoneWolf, she'll be in here in no time. We're going to chop it up. It's time to find solutions. It's time to understand what's going on and to really just put like an end to this, because everybody's ending up as a hashtag police brutality. Is still the same story every single year. I remember since 2015, just being in high school, like it's the same stuff. So it's just trying to find a solution to this problem. So we got Queen Yonasda right here by the scene to request, Queen. Queen
Hi,
Yonasda, hi. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good. I appreciate you coming to the platform.
Thank you for having me. It
No
means
problem. No problem. Starting off, I saw you. You went to Brunswick. You went to where everything went down. With the Ahmad Arbery case, what made you say, "Hey, I want to go to the scene where all of this happened"? What sparked that?
you know, I was conflicted with it because
Mm-hmm.
usually when there's anything of any police brutality and a family member or a loved one reaches out, then I go and I organize and things like that. So that's just what I do. But in this situation, no family member, no one reached out. But I
Yeah.
know that the Georgia NAACP has been circulating this petition since February, since it
Mm-hmm.
happened. And I'm very close friends with Attorney Gerald Griggs, who is an
Yes.
attorney and also a part of the Georgia NAACP of Greater Atlanta. And so he sent it to me, and I was posting and all of that. And we are in a pandemic. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, what do we do to organize and to protest in the midst of a pandemic?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so when I saw the video, I went on my Facebook and spirit just led me to just tell to really call out men.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah.
is time for
Yeah.
men to rise up. As a woman that's been on the front line, as a single mother that's been on the front line, I've been tear gassed, I've been arrested, I've been through a lot of abuse, and I said this is the time for men to step up, to
Yeah.
organize, and all hands on deck. They took one of ours, you know, and so in the midst of that, am I breaking up or can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Am I
I'm
breaking
good.
up? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Okay. So I would say it was probably like on Thursday. Um the NAACP was doing a rally in Brunswick, Georgia. And then that Thursday I called 19 Keys, and then he brought in Blue Pill and
Yeah.
all of them, and we because I'm already very close with them anyway, but I was like this to roll with me. I need some brothers to roll with me to go down there, and let's go look at the landscape. Let's see what let's see if we could get some real information from the people of the community. Let's understand the community. Why did this happen on our clock, on our time? You know what I'm saying? in our community. Like, I want to have a better understanding. And then on top of it, so when, as an organizer, I'm able to, like, okay, this is the information, this is the landscape. So if we continue, not if, but when we continue to plan more actions or whatever it is that we're going to do, I already kind of look at what's happening. So I'm happy that I went down to Brunswick, Georgia, because I got on our way down there. Let me tell you, on our way driving from Atlanta to Brunswick, Georgia is about 4 hours. On our way driving down there, it was let me see, hold on. It was, you know, like how the KKK don't promote themselves as the KKK anymore. They have it's like a, you know what I'm talking about? It's like a cross, and it's like a weird looking cross with a circle, and it's white with red and black. You know what I'm talking about? That's their
I don't think
symbol.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, it's like a white supremacist group. So
Oh,
on your
I know what
way,
you're talking about. Yes.
you know what I'm talking about? So
Yeah.
on the way going down to Brunswick from Atlanta, you're seeing all of these recruitment signs. I mean, I'm talking about billboards.
Wow.
In front of people's houses. Like, we saw so much of that. And they was like, meeting every Tuesday, every Thursday. They're organized. They're
Wide in the
organized
open,
to
like they
say,
don't care. Yeah.
what? I love it. I love it when they are out in the open. Tell me
Yeah.
you're a racist. Don't.
Yeah.
I don't like anyone that's hiding their evil. I want to see the devil head on, so I know how to slay him, and I know exactly what he or she looks like. You know what I'm saying? So I was all like, oh,
That's
yeah,
right. Yeah.
it's about to get really, really real on our way down here. And so even more so, I'm on high alert. So when we get down there, we go to the gas station, bumper stickers in the gas station of, you know how you buy bumper stickers and stuff? It was all like that same symbol, all white supremacy, Confederate flags in front of people's homes. I mean, it's just out in the open. We get there to Brunswick, and you know, I think what the people of Brunswick needs to see is Black unity and Black power. When one thing I've noticed of being in the South, I'm not from the South, but I've been in the South. I'm from Arizona and Chicago, but being in the South, what I've noticed, when you leave out Atlanta or when you leave Miami,
it's a different world.
And when you leave, when you go into the mud, into the trenches, into the sticks outside of a major city in these places, what you'll notice is that there's a lot of Black folks, but the people that are in power is still white people.
That's right.
And the thing is that what I saw, even when I was in Alabama, what I saw was like, shh, be quiet, don't talk too much.
Don't be causing trouble.
Don't be causing trouble. No, master looking, master seeing. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when we was at the rally, they called up the sheriff. It was like the man of the hour in Brunswick. The man of the hour coming up here. He's the one that went to the door and arrested these two. Let's go ahead and give him a huge warm welcome of round of applause. Me, 19 Keys, and some other men that's in the audience, and some sisters that were very, very conscious and aware was like, what? Oh, hell nah. He could have arrested them in February when it went down. Don't praise him. They was like, shh, shh, be quiet. The family don't want that. What? No, the family needs justice, and they need people to speak and not be scared and pussyfooting around against when you up and looking at the devil in his eye. Jesus said, get behind me. Jesus didn't have a long, drawn-out conversation with the devil when he was going up to the mountaintop. When he said to him for 60 days and 60 nights, he said, get behind me. The devil was continuously trying to tell him to do more things. Jesus said, get behind me. So we all telling this sheriff, get behind me. Ain't no praising you. Ain't no praising you. So I feel that the people of Brunswick needs us. The people of Brunswick need us to go down there. Mask up, glove up, put your armor of God on. Yeah. And you need to go down, because our people in these communities need to know that they're not alone. They need to know that there's Nat Turners coming out of the plantation. They need to know there's Sojourner Truths. They need to see a Harriet Tubman of today. Yeah. Because some of them are still feeling like they have to go along to get along in order for them to live in a community. And I'm not that type of person. I started a riot in my high school when I was 16 years old. Yeah. I went to predominantly white high school, and it was a lot of skinheads and KKK. This is in the 90s. Arizona was the last state to have a Martin Luther King holiday. We was fighting for that holiday. Yeah. When we was marching, there was KKK and skinheads spitting on us, throwing stuff at us. When we was going down the street singing, "We Shall Overcome." I've been doing this for a very, very long time. And when I was young, I wasn't scared of them. And today, at the age of 42, I ain't scared of them.
That's right.
I ain't scared of them. I would never be scared of the devil. As long as I know I have God, then nothing else could shake me or move me.
That's right. Wow. I love that, Queen. And something that you touched on, which I think is so relevant, is that why do we have certain people in our community that's always afraid? Like, how do we break that cycle of us actually standing up for ourselves? Because so many times, and you've been fighting this fight longer than I've been alive, we've seen so many of us turn into hashtags, being killed brutally, and we don't do anything about it, and we're too timid. How do we shake like that scared spirit off? How do we do it?
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb. We need to know and stand up and know that you're not alone. That when we are united with a united voice, then you shouldn't be timid. You shouldn't be scared. I think what we're dropping the ball is that we're not raising the consciousness of our people. See, the thing is that what I noticed and what I learned going to Brunswick was that they have a certain level. They have a certain level of the same mentality. It's embedded and intertwined into them. It's woven within their culture. So they're able to teach their children, their children's children, their children's children, that the black and dark-skinned people of the world is a nigger, they're evil, they're below you. That's what they teach. Us? Oh, no, don't raise your voice up too high. Because if you do, they're going to come and hang you. They're going to kill you. You're not going to get justice, so don't say nothing. We instill fear. My son, that's 9, my other son, that's 19, they don't fear the police. One of the times one of the police officers pushed his little bike against my son.
Wow.
My son said, he said, "Don't touch me." And he's 9. You hit me, don't hit me.
Yeah.
It's because I'm not teaching fear in my children. The only thing I tell them, I say, you don't fear nothing, but the only thing you fear is God.
That's right.
That's it. I teach my sons to make sure that they have the armor of God, that they move within wisdom and knowledge, that they don't go out here. See, there's this fine line between fearlessness and stupidity. Don't martyr yourself. Wow. Don't martyr yourself in this fight. You know what I'm saying? Don't martyr yourself, but because you have that's going to be past me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that people, when you have an understanding of self, that's the thing. We have to, what I mean by raising the consciousness is that our children all think that we started with slavery. They're not teaching that we were kings and queens in Africa, kings and queens on this soil, kings and queens in South America, kings and queens in Australia, in Asia.
That's right.
We're not teaching our children who they are, not just here in America, but on a global scale. So when they begin to have knowledge of self, then you don't fear nothing because you know that you're a God. You got to know and walk like you are God.
That's right.
So that's our responsibility. And everyone that's viewing this and that's tuning in and that's being engaged in this conversation is elevating to a level of consciousness. And I hope that they're able to bring their children into the conversation. See, we constantly, we look at Hidden Colors. We read Black Man. We read Behold a Pale Horse. We read these things. But are we sitting the time out and saying, telling our child, you read this too. You read that. You learn this. You listen to this. Or do we just put them on YouTube? I mean, we'll have them watch on YouTube and have them watch children watch, playing with other children, playing with toys. And Nickelodeon, Disney.
That's right.
We have to begin to, because for me, that was my life. I was the little girl on the corner, sitting right next to the couch, listening to Minister Farrakhan, Chief Ernie Longwalker, Kwame Ture, even Jesse Jackson, just sitting back and just listening to them planning and talking about everything of the world and what's going on in the news and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, that was my entertainment. Television, I don't think my mom had a television until I was probably like 10. We didn't have our television was listening and engaging and listening to the old heads, I'm saying, them, all of them. Not the old head, but I'm saying, like, people just talking about what's going on in the world. We have to raise the level of consciousness. And that until that happens, we're going to continue to be beat down, abused, oppressed, constantly begging this government for a handout when we could just do for self, have our own, you know what I'm saying? But until then, it all starts with having true knowledge of self, of who we are.
That's right. I love that. And Queen, when y'all went to Brunswick, what was that environment like? When you first went to the street of where Ahmaud was murdered, what was that whole energy like? What was that like for y'all?
When we went, like on the right when you go in. So first off, the community is a subdivision. It's like a U. So the McMichaels live right here, and then you go down, and then that's where he was shot. But you come down here, and then you go around, and Ahmaud lived right here. So when we was there, we spoke with the neighbors, and they said that he runs all the time, 4 to 5 miles a day. He jogs. Wow. He was always in that community. He lives there. Wow. So he would run that whole U, that circle around. It's probably like 1.5 miles around that neighborhood. Looking at the footage, they had to have chased him until that camera guy filmed. Because in order for him to, unless they were moving fast, but I saw the footage of him going into the house to look at the house that was for sale. You know what I'm saying? Like the house that was for sale, he was looking at that. Right. And even with him looking at it and him coming out, I didn't see that white truck come out yet. So that means that he had to have go around and then came back again. That's just my assumption of looking at the neighborhood, looking at the footage. Of course, we'll start seeing more facts as they begin to start looking at more. But I think, and then the neighbor, so the McMichaels, and then he got shot here. The neighbor lives a little bit more up. That one that had the camera. So they said, let's get him at that intersection. So that means he had to have come back around right there. Okay. That white truck is still in front of the McMichaels' home.
I saw it on your Instagram.
They didn't confiscate it. And then, so when I went there, it's a very mixed community. It's not predominantly white, it's mixed community. regular homes, you know, people outside. So best believe there was a lot of witnesses, because when we was out there, there was a white lady outside on the porch that looked like she was comfortable, looked like she probably outside every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone was outside, people was jogging, not just for him, but just doing what they just do. And
Yeah.
so his spirit was very you could feel it was uneasy. You could feel that they took him you know, unjustly. You could feel that you could feel that. So I I started screaming his name.
Wow.
And I started, you know, because it was quiet, it was solemn. It was a lot of people coming, but they're just very solemn, very, and I was like, nah, these neighbors gotta know what happened in their neighborhood on their clock. So I was like, say his name.
That's
And
right.
they was like, Ahmad. I said, say his name. What's his name? And it wasn't because I was trying to start a protest. Nah, because I'm a spiritual woman. And there's some things about when we scream out the names of our ancestors that evokes the spirit, that makes sure that those ancestors know that they are not forgotten. And Ahmad in Arabic means praiseworthy. So I was praising his name on his birthday. Today is his birthday.
Wow.
We're going to say his name. So what you saw was the ending of what I was doing. But I was chanting his name for a minute, because that was exactly what needed to be done.
Yeah.
19 Keys took off his crown and put it right there where he was murdered. You know, he had a
Yeah.
crown. And he was like, if the guy, so then in 19 Keys said to me, he goes, I said, you know, I run with the mod. And he said, nah, he said, man, I fight with the mod. And I said, you know, you absolutely right. Cause Ahmad was fighting for his life. He was fighting. He wasn't running away. Yo, he was like, he looked at they shot him. He was like, no, let me grab this gun. What you doing? Fighting for his life. So he was a fighter. So my hashtag is hashtag I fight with Maud. No, I fight with Ahmad, who's praiseworthy, who we have to scream his name, because so that's why I screamed his name. And when I did that, some of the neighbors are coming out. Oh, what's going to happen? No, I'm evoking the spirit of our ancestor that y'all that was murdered on y'all time. You know what I'm saying? That y'all didn't do nothing for 2 months. All of y'all saw a witness to a murder and y'all didn't do nothing for 2 months. So the neighbors and the people in the community said if it didn't go on, they said if it didn't go on video, they said things like this happen quite a bit down here in Brunswick, Georgia. If it didn't go on video, then no one would have, it would have been just another nigger that they murdered, that they're raising money for. And so and I was like, you know what? Because when I was in the community and seeing these white supremacist signs of their recruitment, they have meetings every Tuesday and Thursday, and seeing all of that, I said, yeah, he was filming that for his own entertainment, to give back and pull back to his community, to his folks, and looking like, look what we did. We executed and hunted down. That one of the neighbors was all like, they said the way that he was, the son was standing in the back of the bed was what hunters do when they're hunting down an animal. So then the daughter has the audacity, while he's laying there dead, while her brother and her father shot Ahmad, she has the audacity to take a picture of his dead body. I have that picture. I don't know if I want to post that picture. But I have the picture of his dead body that the daughter, the McMichael's daughter, posted. And she had the nerve to post it on Snapchat. Wow. That's what they do. They love to take pictures. They love to take pictures of what they hunt.
Yep.
They've been taking pictures of us with burned up. They burn us, smiling, us hung, smiling.
Yep.
Native Americans' heads on stakes, smiling. Us Native Americans submissive in a place of with bodies all around us, and they smiling like they always be taking pictures like that. They get a joy out of seeing us being slaughtered and executed, beheaded, hung, raped, sodomized. It's sick.
It's crazy. And what you said was things that I've been hearing. So you've actually confirmed that about the Snapchat, about him being in that hunting position, and hearing that is just it's crazy and it's sickening. So speaking on that family, the McMichaels, and knowing that they're white supremacists, and I know people trying to not make it seem that way, but they are. When you see in the media that they're trying to bash Ahmad's name and say, oh, they found new footage of him looking into a home, or that he wasn't a choir boy, when you hear this same repetitive thing that we've seen with Mike Brown, Trayvon, and so many others, what do you feel?
That's exactly because this is their system that they created to go for them and not for us. So they're that's what they're going to do, and this is why we have to be more organized. We have to be more. We have to. It all goes down to us being more tighter and more organized as a people. Of course, they're going to always slander and talk and throw judgment. They've been doing this since the beginning. They were slandering us since they landed here. They've been slandering us. They were saying, they was calling Pocahontas, come and get your whore. You're free. Pocahontas was, what was she, 12 or 10 years old? No one don't even know that. She was 12 years old. Pocahontas was a little girl. So they took a picture of her and put her in the advertisement saying, look it, what's here? You could get you a squaw, get you a nice little Native American maiden and make her your wife. She was 12. And then with woman's body, because of the thickness of our body of Black woman. You know what I'm saying? They was constantly coming. They always been painting us as savages, as heathens, as animals. I'm going to say this. In the U.S. Constitution, in the Declaration of Independence, Black people are 3/4 human. In 2020, we're still not even considered a full human. And then Native Americans, we're not even named as Native Americans. We're named as merciless savages in 2020. So for that reason, this system, until that changes, we're not even human, and brown people of America is savages. Black people are not even human, and brown people are savages. So for that reason, we continuously fighting. We're fighting them on something that they established. So yeah, it makes me angry. But there's more deep rooted stuff because they've been doing this for a long time. So it doesn't surprise me. And that's why we need more fearless attorneys, more fearless politicians, more fearless in leadership that's not going to sit here. And my son was in court, and I went to court, and I'm seeing the lawyers kicking it with the judge. Like, they all know each other. Just chilling. And I'm like, they got the life in their hands. And they sitting here, they toy and play with our people in in prisons, in the jail system. They toy and play with it. They're like, what should we do? Oh no. Just give them life. Just give them. That's how they kick. They all know each other. So when I go into a community to try to find a local attorney, I ask them a certain series of questions. How close are you with them? Do you go to their annual Christmas party or whatever? I need to know, because I need to know that you're going to get justice. I need to know that you're not going to sit here and they always breaking out deals too. They real quick to do that.
Big facts. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
facts. And with the McMichael's family, I've seen pictures with them with law enforcement. The father, he has a history in law enforcement inside of Brunswick, inside of that community. He's been extremely active. So speaking on that same point, we already know that they're thick as thieves. So what do we do? Like when the cards are stacked against us and we see that they already have everything already in order. And I know that some people probably feel like, man, this is going to be like another Trayvon Martin where they just get off because they have so much pull. Do you think that
Well,
justice will be served?
well, we'll never get true justice. The family will never
Yeah,
get true
exactly.
justice, you know. But
Exactly.
I would say this is that the the new prosecutor is from Cobb County, Georgia. She's a really good prosecutor. So they was able to fight that. Shout out to all of the attorneys nationally and locally and the NAACP for not letting up since this first happened. We have to
Right.
support the people that are doing this background work. And we cannot let up. We got to continue to let it hashtag. See, when my cousin, right? My cousin in South Dakota, in Pine Ridge, South Dakota, was murdered by two white supremacists. It was a father and a son. It was a father that said, let's go kill an Indian tonight. They saw my
Wow.
cousin, they killed him, they shot him, and then they set him on fire. And then they sat back while his body was on fire and drank coffee. Now, that was just 4 years ago. It wasn't on television. It didn't make major news or none of that. And then if it wasn't for local, my family hiring a good attorney and all that, that they did end up getting life. But there is so many cases where it just goes swept under the rug. My best friend, her son, Travion, was shot in the back of his head, 13 years old, in Clayton County, Georgia. There, that police officer is still working. No, she didn't even go to trial. Nothing happened because it was during the time of Trayvon Martin, where it was an audio and people was moved and all of that stuff. She didn't get anything. She's still,
Yes.
as a matter of fact, yesterday being Mother's Day was a hard day because that was her only child. And so, and she's fighting cancer right now. So the thing is that, you know, we know so many, it's probably even in our own family, and those that's watching this know of a family member that was murdered unjustly, but didn't get major headlines, didn't get nothing. And this is why we cannot let up. We have to continue. Some people say, I don't want to see another video. No, you need to care. Unfortunately, we still hear now fortunately we still hear Emmett Till. But it was because Emmett Till's mother said, show the casket. Open the casket and show our son.
Right.
But there were so many Emmett Tills before Emmett Till. There were so many Emmett Tills after Emmett Till. Is their life worth less than that they don't get an acknowledgement? See, we have to check ourselves in how we are so desensitized. We are so desensitized. So this case of Ahmaud was out in February. I had the petition on my page. NAACP had it. Sean King had the petition on his page. Not as many people were signing in until we saw the video. That's the sad part. So a headline don't move us no more. A headline don't move. We're like, oh man, another person got shot. Dang. All right, so what? Yo, turn to revolt. Let me watch what you know. What I'm saying with the new. What's T.I. talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like we're so desensitized that when there's a person that gets murdered, unless we seeing it with our eyes, and depending on how we see it, if it's kind of blurry or whatever, we know the person got shot, but that don't move us enough. That don't move us enough. If the person was running, or maybe he should have got shot. He probably deserved it. What? That's a life. We have become so desensitized. Right. We have to check ourselves on that. So if you're still moved, Don't let emotion, we can't become emotional activists, emotional reactors to our
That's
people.
right.
I don't emotionally organize. We cannot let emotions turn us up, and then when our emotions switch to the next thing, then we're not caring. Memorial Day is coming up. So what? So come Memorial Day, no one's going to talk about Ahmaud. Let me tell you about these cases. A lot of times, these cases, depending on how the people are responding, if everyone lets it up, people in Brunswick, Georgia, that local government is going to probably move that case until another year. When we were standing with Shakisha Clemens, man, we had the heat up for the boycotting the Waffle House. But after 6 months, and they saw it started dying down, it wasn't trending no more and all that, them people down in Alabama was like, nah, let's keep on pushing her trial back. Push it back, push it back, push it back. All of the people wasn't supporting her when a lot of people wasn't supporting it, didn't come to Alabama on her actual trial date because it wasn't trending. It wasn't people still eating at the Waffle House.
Wow.
And they're like, oh, we still boycotting that? Yes.
Yeah.
We don't eat at the Waffle House. They never gave her, as a matter of fact, they pressed, she was guilty of the charges according to them. So
Wow.
we cannot let up. We can't let up when we see, and it's not going to be, these attorneys be working, Attorney Lee Merritt, Attorney Benjamin Crump, man, they got so many cases back to back, and then they hire local attorneys to take on the case, and those local attorneys have so much weight on them. We cannot continue, because we have to help these attorneys. And the position that Crump is in, and Attorney Lee Merritt, and whatever your opinion is of them, is that they are fearless. There's a lot of attorneys that are scared to go up against this system because they feel too, oh, I gotta live here. We have to support them.
That's right. That's right. And what can we do right now in this moment to give it our all so we can make sure that something happens from this? Because, like what you said, we've seen so many times with previous cases that when it's trendy, when it's a hashtag, we have no problem posting that. But what actual work can we do so we can stay consistent with this case?
Continue to follow Sean King. Continue to follow Attorney Lee Merritt, Attorney Benjamin Crump. They're constantly, and I have to give a shout out to Sean King. He works day in and day out. He's a husband to a beautiful wife. He's a father to beautiful children. And the way that he goes and fights against white supremacy, on especially using social media, there's times that man can't even leave outside of his home. He can't. They want him dead so bad. They want him dead. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to, but it can't just be just Sean King. We have to all come together and support one another in our works. There's an attorney, Gerald Griggs. Follow him on social media. There's a lot of call to actions that's coming up. As a matter of fact, in Brunswick, Georgia, this Saturday, there's going to be, there's a calling of all men to go down there this Saturday in Brunswick, Georgia. Over the weekend, my cousin put a call out to the bikers of the southern region because she's a part of a bike club. It was over 2,000 bikers that went down to Brunswick, Georgia, that just held up traffic. We got to keep them. It's 60% black people and 40% white in Brunswick, Georgia, but we got to keep them uncomfortable. They got to be uncomfortable. They got to know that when you touch one of us, oh, best believe you ain't living comfortable no more. So even our presence alone is uncomfortable. The color of our skin is uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to do. Like, you touch one of what? We didn't have to know Ahmaud, but you touch one of us, ours? Oh no, we coming down there in swarms, like killer bees on a swarm. Like we can't, so if you're not a protester, if you're not a marcher, but just your presence alone is needed. Mask up, put gloves on, make sure you have your N95 mask. I have you saw the pictures of me. I got I got a big old gas mask. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
You suited and booted.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm suited and booted. I always had a gas mask from being tear gas and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, like, you know, you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared, and your presence alone is what the people of Brunswick, Georgia need. They need to see us. They need to see unity.
Love that. And after this case is done and Ahmad's name will still live on, what do we do next as a community?
Um, I would suggest that everyone find a local organization to be a part of, that's doing something within the community, not just when there's a crisis, but there's actual planning 365. You know, it's crazy. When I was looking at that, when I was looking at the white supremacist signs, they said they have they paid a billboard for Tuesdays and Thursday meetings. So that means that no matter what, rain, snow, hurricane, tornado, whatever, there's always going to be someone there every Tuesday and Thursday because they paid for that big old billboard. Where's ours? We don't see that come every Tuesday and Thursday to the NAACP, to the National Action Network, to the Black Panther Party, to the, you know what I'm saying, to whatever organizations. We don't see that. You know what I'm saying? We don't see that because we have to be more consistent. We got to be more consistent and more organized. And so someone said we could do online meetings as well. Exactly. We have to be more, no excuses. So if there's one thing I learned in Ferguson is the people of Ferguson, after the cameras left, they continued to meet. They continue to protest 365. There was, if it was raining, they was inside some meeting facility doing a food giveaway and meeting, talking about strategic plans on, you know, what we gonna do after Ferguson. So since then, they pushed frontline activists to political positions there, which got them a dollar home program, which got them, I mean, what they did after Mike Brown's murder was they continued to organize 365. And even more so that there has been so many, there's been like 7 activists that was murdered since after Mike Brown, and King Darren was one of them. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to King Darren.
He was
man,
burned up on the side of his car, right?
Yeah, they try to play it like it was a suicide. But nah, they killed Darren. They killed Darren. So, man, I miss Darren. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be more, we got to be more consistent with whatever organization, whatever it is that you want to be a part of or that you are a part of. Make sure that if you're having meetings every Wednesday and Saturday, that you stick to that. That you, even if it's just you and another person, you stick to that. Do not let up when it comes down to the liberation of our people. That's the thing that we could take out of this, is that we have to raise the consciousness of our people, and commitment is the number one thing. Harriet Tubman was freaking committed. She was like, oh, I got a couple, man, I'm going back. I got more to go free. I'm going back again. And if she didn't meet those slaves at a certain point, at a certain time, on a certain day, then now they were dead. She had to make sure there was a meeting place, and she was right there committed for their freedom. That's what we have to be like. We got to be committed to our people. We cannot sit here and people are donating to us and we can't tell them where it's going to. We have to be reliable. And that's one thing, that's the reason why we see Chinatown prospering. We see the Jewish community prospering. We see the Italian community prospering. The Mexican community, the Latino community prospering. Because everyone has a certain level of consciousness of self and culture where they're like, you know what? No, this is what we're going to do. This is where we have to be as a people. by any means. And that's the problem. We are not doing that as a collective, on a local scale, on a statewide scale, on a national scale. So if you're ahead of any type of organization, we got to get our numbers up, and we have to be committed. If it's going to be a Zoom meeting every Saturday, make sure that you exactly there at 10 o'clock. My grandfather, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, which is his birthday today, he is 87. Shout out to Big Ups. But he's 87 today. And I remember I was late to meet, or we was late to, I was late like 5 minutes. And he said, you can't take people's time for granted. We can't take people's time for granted. We take each other for granted. So we talk a lot, but we're not committed to each other. We have to commit. You cannot sit here and say you love Black people, but you don't feel responsible and committed to Black people. And that was the thing that we could have learned from everyone before us. Marcus Garvey. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone, Nat Turner. There was a responsibility that everyone felt like the blood of the people is on my hands. I have to be committed to go ahead and make sure I put together a trading infrastructure. Marcus Garvey did. He set up an entire military police force in Harlem on his own. He went up in there and said, y'all think y'all the police? No, I got my army. We about to take over this community. Harlem is about to be Black Harlem. That's what Marcus Garvey did. They had the whole uniform and everything. We got to learn our history and know what everyone did prior to us. So in order for us to be able to take and understand that blueprint, so we could continue building on. We don't do enough of our own history, political education, and knowing exactly how everyone likes to talk about Malcolm with a gun, holding a gun, and say, I'm more like Malcolm than I am like Dr. King. Why would you say something like that? Dr. King was getting his butt kicked. Like Dr. King was in the mud with our people, getting arrested left and right, getting his butt kicked left and right, being committed to the liberation of our people. Malcolm X did the same thing, but just on a different level. There's no comparison to the two. Malcolm knew how to curse the white man out left and right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Malcolm also knew how to be able to maneuver and do what he needed to do. Two different people.
That's right.
Malcolm only held the gun. First off, in the Nation of Islam, we don't have weapons. Malcolm only held the gun because they just burned down his house. So he was like, all right, if anyone comes back in here, he didn't go out looking for him. He physically did not go out looking for the people that burned his house down. He said, if they come here, I'm going to have to defend my family. Did he use it? No. He didn't use it. So what are you talking about? I was raised around Black Panthers, American Indian movement, the Chicano movement, the Nation of, you know what I'm saying, Nation of Islam. And I'm hearing stories. Even today, I was talking to an OG Black Panther. And he's like, man, we used to have shootouts with the police.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Straight up shootouts.
It still made it.
It still made it through. Yeah. Yo, in South Dakota, during the siege of Wounded Knee, they was having shootouts. So when we was in Standing Rock, getting tear gassed, getting followed, getting harassed, I'm talking to the OGs from the American Indian movement day, and they're like, man, we don't even have weapons here. Y'all don't need, I mean, I understand you're in tear gas, you're crying, but yo, we saw bodies shot around us.
Yeah.
Like, this is peace, considering that they was in all-out shootouts. So the people that tweet and talk and say an eye for an eye, you don't, yo, there's no talking an eye for an eye. If you believe in the eye for an eye, then you go ahead and walk that talk.
Yeah.
But stop, then shut the hell up, because you're just talking. We don't need no more lip professors anymore. That's just want to talk and saying, oh, I'm tired of marching and protesting. Then what's a better idea? And then if you come up with a better idea, act upon it and do it. And then recruit. But till then, we're going to continuously protest. We're going to continuously march. We're going to sign petitions. We're going to go ahead and have our meetings. We're going to continue to buy the block the best way that we can, learn about real estate. We're going to continue, we're going to continuously doing what we're doing until someone comes up with a better idea. And not only comes up with a better idea, but implement that better idea.
That's right. That's right. Queen, thank you so much for your time. You gave us such a powerful message. I appreciate it so much. And before we leave, where can everybody keep up with everything that you have going on, and how can everybody support you overall?
You can hit me up on Queen Yonasda. Well, on here, Queen Yonasda, Queen YONASDA. It looks like Yonasda.com. And I have several organizations. So you could, depending on what you want to be a part of, I have National Stop the Killing. I have Hip Hop for Foundation for Indigenous Peoples Movement, which is a global, I would say a global hub of people, a connector. So, whatever it is that you would like to be a part of, wherever you see yourself, I have to do all these different things, even though it's all the same thing, but the same token, there's different demographics of people. I always say there's different positions in revolution. You just got to you just got to figure out what you want to do. So whether it's using social media, marketing, just as long as we are using whatever it is that we're doing, we're raising the consciousness of our people, and we're fighting for freedom, justice, and equality by doing just that. So if you are a frontline warrior, then there's a place for you. But just do remember, when you're on a front line, don't think of yourself as being on a front line to martyr yourself. Think of yourself to being on a front line that you're standing for our people. My grandfather, Minister Farrakhan, said that we're all going to get to a point in our life where we'll have to make a decision on what we're willing to fight for. No matter who it is, no matter what it is, you're all going to have to make a decision on what you're willing to fight for. So Ahmaud fought for his life. He was faced with a situation on what he's willing to fight for. He could have continued to run, but he made a decision on, no, I'm fighting for my life against white supremacy. Ahmaud, meaning praiseworthy. He made that decision. I know people that are right now are fighting for their child to be accepted at schools because they do not want their child to be vaccinated. That's the decision on what you're willing to fight a school system for. Right. So it could be something like that, or it could be something with your life. No matter what it is, we all have to make a decision on what we're willing to fight for. Unfortunately, we don't live in a world that is peaceful. Malcolm X said, there's no revolution without bloodshed, without sacrifice. It could be bloodshed of the body, or it could be bloodshed in regards to the way that we think.
Right.
There's always a sacrifice. You have to sacrifice something.
That's real. Queen, again, thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you.
Thank
Protect her at all costs, y'all, because we need her. So thank you so much. And this will be posted on YouTube later this week. And the moment that it's posted, I'll make sure to share it with you. So thank you again, Queen.
Thank you. Peace.
All right. You have a good night. Everyone, if you can, follow us at 3MilliPod on Instagram and subscribe to us on YouTube. The link to our YouTube channel is in our bio. We love y'all. We thank y'all. Make sure to stay safe as well. Once again, my name is Caleb Smith. Justice for Ahmaud. You guys be safe. Peace.